So it's been another crazy week in the stock market. Uh, we've had green days, red and green in one day. Um, Altogether negative. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna probably keep going for a while, I think, which is fine with what our strategy is. But it is hard to, I guess, not be worried about everything that's going on, just because we got this going on here with Saudi Arabia and Russia and everything else going on with the panicking of said illness. And I don't know, it's just every industry is not doing well right now. So, with that being said, this week, instead of creating positions into one, two companies at a time like I originally thought I was going to do, I ended up just buying one of each to help diversify a little bit. I know looking at these individual companies, it's heavy into real estate and heavy into financials, but that's just what monthly stocks typically look like, is these REIT companies and these financial companies. So just touching on that real quick, the plan is to keep building into these 10 companies, and then now I'm starting to figure out what my more diversified quarterly dividend payers are going to be. I think I'm for sure going to invest in these two since it's telecommunications. I don't have that yet, and they're reputable companies that pay dividends and are lower risk, I would say. Speaking of risk, this company here just had their safety score adjusted on Simply Safe dividends. So let me just flip over to this real quick. So this is my spreadsheet that I made to get a rough idea of how much income I should be expecting. It's a lot of information here. It's not the prettiest, but just a couple of things. Right here is the safety score from Simply Safe Dividends. If you're interested in what that is, it's just a website that gives a dividend score on the likelihood of a company cutting its dividend. So a company like Realty Income is considered really safe, and a company like AGNC and PSEC are unsafe, considering the fact that they don't have as much cash on hand, that kind of stuff. So companies like this are more likely to cut their dividend during a recession, which again, I think we're pretty much at that point now. So I decided to try to spread out a little bit more, invest in everything at one time. That way, if one company cuts, it's not as big of an impact on me. I don't have as large of an account as some people, so I'm not as worried about it if it does happen, but still think it's a good idea to just spread out a little bit. But back to EPR, so they were a 61 and they cut it down to a 45, which is, I think 61 is considered safe and then 45 is considered slightly unsafe. So the reason being is that EPR, they, I guess, own a ton of movie theaters, and people just aren't going to be doing that as much right now with everything that's going on. So it makes sense. It's just kind of crappy because this was one of the safer companies that I had. But it's okay. I consider 45 still probably a pretty good bet. And even if a company does cut its dividend a little bit, I'm probably not going to sell out of it at this point. I'll just taper off a little bit. So yeah, that's the plan with that and everything that's happened this week. I do want to go back to Robinhood though and explain my all-time chart here. So in the beginning here, I was trying to day trade on Robinhood. I didn't know that there was a difference between level 1 and level 2 data. So basically Robinhood, everything that you see is sometimes 15-30 minutes behind what the actual market's doing. So it's pretty much impossible to day trade when you're behind 30 minutes. So I got some money there, just got lucky, and then I ended up losing $200. And this is about the time I basically got demoted at one of my other jobs that I had, and So I pulled all my money out. That's why there's this long stretch here. And then I don't know if I bought a couple shares here, what this is. But right here, I was trying to get back into it, learning again about investing, and basically got everybody at work to sign up with Robinhood and got free stocks from them. So I got a little bit of income there, and then sold everything off and took another break just because we were trying to pay off some more debt and stuff, and just wasn't as focused. And then pretty much at this point I started researching really hard because I do want to do the stock thing, and learned about basically what this dividend income is and how to get passive income. And then I started up again right about January, February, putting in a couple $100. Here, let's pull up the 1 year. And that's about when everything started to go downhill. So it's fine. We haven't pulled any money out, sold anything yet. It's just where we're at. And to be honest, this is where I do want to be at because all these stocks have dropped in price. So they're valued pretty good, I would say, for most of them. So, hey, it might be a green day today. That'd be nice. What else do we got? I guess the other thing I should say is, with everything else that's going on, my significant other has already had her hours cut at her job. So we have to make some adjustments there. They're cutting 8 hours a week from her pay. She's hourly, so it's 32 hours a month. That's a couple $100. I haven't put out the video yet, but I am going to be making a video on what my income and bills and all that debt looks like, so you guys can kind of see like what I'm doing with my money, why I'm doing it, and all that stuff. So she just had her hours cut, but we're still going to keep going in Robinhood. I think we're going to keep it at $100 a week and stick with that until we figure out everything else that's going on and whatnot. I think $100 is reasonable. We should be able to maintain that, no problem. I just wanted to do more than that, and whatever else, especially right now with everything being in the red, but it's okay. Life happens. So but yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this video. I guess the last thing I'll say is my plan for the next week is to keep doing $100 and maybe start just spreading out everything each week as much as I can with $100. I mean, it's only going to buy me a couple of shares, but that's just kind of the reality of a smaller account. You don't get to do as much at one time. So I think we have a dividend coming next Friday, so we'll talk about that next week. And yeah, that's it for this video.